Hi, Michael Force here again with Rise. We are lesson number 15 now here with the Digital Marketing Mastery course. We're going to dig into copywriting. Copywriting is incredibly powerful. It really is the lifeblood of your business when it comes to marketing. If you have bad copywriting, nobody will read what it is you're offering or selling. If you don't know how to write and how to pull people in, your business will struggle and wane. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that here in this one. This is a powerful module and lesson that you're really going to want to take some deep notes on and watch maybe more than once. Copywriting, again, can be the lifeblood of your business. If you have bad copywriting, if you don't know how to pull people in with words, your business is going to struggle. Think about when you see ads in magazines or commercials, all of that is scripted out, all of that is written long before, and it's designed to pull you in and to get you excited and or interested in whatever it is they're offering. So copywriting is incredibly powerful. And think about even videos. Videos have scripts just like movies do. They pull you in. You know the difference between a good movie and a bad movie, right? Same thing, good book and a bad book. It's all words, and we're going to teach you how to use those words to profit in a very big way. So let's jump into lesson number 15, and I'll see you on the inside. Michael Force here again. Welcome to lesson 15 of the Rise Digital Marketing Mastery course. We're going to talk about writing awesome copy here, how to write your way to online riches. Let's dig in here. Copy is about the words you use to communicate in your marketing. The words in your marketing carry the essence of everything you're trying to convey, which includes your message, meaning, and ideas. If you want to become a master at marketing, then it is a must that you practice the writing, speaking, and video making aspects of your copy. Moreover, it's crucial to remember that the common denominators of marketing in just about every case are the words contained in your marketing piece. But at the same time, you should keep in mind that not all words are equal, something we will discuss later in detail. Previously, we talked about the idea of finding emotional hot-button words and phrases. In particular, we talked about doing a good job of listening to our customers in order to identify their fears and their fantasies, as well as their wants and aspirations, so we can use this information in our marketing. Because if the customers are using these words to describe the things they desire and the things they want to avoid, this means those words will have lots of meaning to them if we choose to insert them into our marketing campaigns. In contrast, if we use just slightly different wording that have meaning to us but not to the customer, well, it will carry only a fraction of the impact. Writing and creating effective copy is always about using short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs. I'm going to say it one more time. Good copy is about short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs. Why is this so? Simply because short words are understandable by everyone. Short sentences break ideas into bite-sized pieces that keep communication clear. And short paragraphs look and feel friendly. They don't intimidate the reader. I'm sure at some point you've glanced over some kind of government document or some sort of scientific research publication, and you've noticed the long blocks of big words and those huge, complex, never-ending sentences, so you just kind of roll your eyes and say, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. Well, the opposite of that is to just create small blocks, small sentences, and small words. Just to let you know, newspapers, magazine articles, and other media publications are just about always written at the 6th, 7th, or 8th grade level, simply to make sure that everyone can understand them. It also turns out not everyone has a PhD that enjoys reading long, sophisticated, and complex communications. If you use short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs, and you communicate in bite-sized pieces that make your content in your marketing look friendly, smart, sophisticated, people will not resent you or get mad at you, I promise. On the other hand, if you use long words and long sentences that are complex, along with long blocks of big paragraphs that look intimidating, simpler, less sophisticated people will definitely resent you, or worse, they'll just ignore you and disappear. So, using short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs are absolutely necessary when writing your marketing copy. Now, here's the counterintuitive part. While using short words, sentences, and phrases or paragraphs, you must also use long, detailed, and persuasive copy that tells your whole story. And I mean the whole story, literally and figuratively, even though you're using short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs. Basically, you must use long copy to tell your entire story. And to illustrate it further, what you can do is a little thought experiment. I want you to imagine a nice little situation for just a moment. I want you to picture a house that has one of your good prospective customers living inside it. Imagine that you wanted to make a sales pitch to them. So you started picturing to yourself that you went over to the front of the door and knocked on it. Your prospective customer came and opened the door for you, and they were willing to listen to you. So now you're all ready to give them a sales pitch or in order to sell them a product. But here's the trick. They can't speak. Again, they can't say anything at all. They can only stand there motionless with their completely blank looks on their face. And they listen to your sales pitch in order to make a decision at the end whether they're going to buy or not. So in this situation, how much would you tell them? What would you say? And how much of the story would you give to them? Well, what I myself would do is conduct a lot of research to figure out what their fears and frustrations are, along with their wants and aspirations. Basically, I would do as much intelligent gathering as possible. This is all before I would have even met with the prospect. I would interview my customers, interview my prospects, and do everything I could to find all of the hot buttons used among them. I'd use all the different tools that we've learned about this in this program. I would give a great opening statement that pointed to benefits that promised results and relief. I would then tell my story. I would build rapport. I would give them bullets and give them subheadlines. In other words, I would give them everything that I had, every weapon in my arsenal. I would be standing there for a long time, maybe for about 30 or 45 minutes. It's hard to imagine walking up and talking to someone for 30 to 45 minutes without them saying anything. But that's what we need to do when creating a very powerful direct marketing message. Sometimes I write long-form sales letters about 30, 40, or 50 pages long to sell my products. Sometimes I create sales videos that are 30, 45, or 60 minutes or longer to sell products. Now, not always, but usually I create a long, detailed, persuasive piece of copy that tells my whole story and gives my prospective customer everything they need to know so they can make an informed decision. So the first question that comes up when people hear something like this is, does anyone read, listen, or watch long copy anymore? So when someone sees a 30-page sales letter or a 45-minute video, they may ask if anyone would read or if anyone would watch that, while the attention spans in copy have always seemed to be growing shorter. I'd really like to emphasize the following. It's a bad decision to bet against long copy. John Carlton, probably the top copywriting trainer in the world right now himself, don't bet against long copy. There are many situations in which short copy works, but don't bet against the long copy because it usually works a lot better. So the answer to, does anyone read, listen to, or watch long copy anymore is, if you had the desire or the interest, then you would read it, and I tell you what, if I had some type of fear or frustrations, like if there was something wrong with my relationship, or if I had imminent health issue and something happened to me financially, and I was concerned about it, and I went online to find a video that was 30 minutes long, and the video mentioned at the beginning that you're going to learn how to solve your problem, what I would do is pause the video. I'd turn off everything around me that was making noise. I'd get myself something to drink and I would settle in because I'd want to know what's they're going to teach me, and I would stay as long as I needed to. Right there is the power of great marketing. You really hit the nail on the head when you meet your prospects' fears, frustrations, wants, and aspirations, and have them sit and go through your copy like that. I've written hundreds of email sales letters and newsletters in many different niches. Many of them are 15 to 20 pages and even longer. And there are many people all over the world who literally just wait for the email newsletter to come in so they can read it. And they've read dozens and dozens of them, no matter how long they are. Why? Because it's a topic they have an interest in. So you would definitely read long-form copy if you were interested in the topic, and that's the key when you use all the tools we're talking about here. By the time someone gets to your long-form sales copy or your long-form video, they will be interested. Regardless of whether you will speak or write on the content, it's extremely important when preparing your copy to use what's called speak-write, as if you were sitting with your prospect in person. Writing copy is an exercising speech to one person when you write copy. Now, for some reason, I think it's probably because we've learned this when we're in school. We humans have a couple of different personalities. We've got multiple personalities of communication, and the different channels of communication have different voices. So we've got one channel of communication or one voice or one personality for when we're hanging out with our friends. We've got another channel or voice or personality for more professional situations. But we also have one for when we're writing. Most people write in a different voice than the voice they use to talk, speak, or converse with. When you're creating marketing copy, you do not want to use a formal writing tone. In fact, what you want to do is almost transcribe word for word what you would say if you were sitting in front of a person, say a friend, or someone that you knew. So what you want to do is speak right and imagine your prospect saying, "How can you help me solve my problem? What are the things that I don't even know about that I should know about in order to solve my problem? What are the things I'm going to have to do to solve my problem? What happens if I don't pay attention to my problem?" And now you're going to ask them all of the questions that you should. And then you're going to want to answer them in a conversational tone and write and write and write. The other important aspect of speak writing is to imagine that you're talking to one person. Remember that anyone that's reading your website, reading one of your sales letters, watching any of your videos, remember that they're alone and feel all alone even though they may be in a room with other people. They're the ones that are listening to you, and the communication will be much more powerful if you speak directly to them, exactly how I am speaking directly to you now. Again, imagine that you're sitting in a room with someone that you knew, liked, and trusted. Or imagine that particular someone was at the other end of the phone, and you knew, liked, and trusted them. Or, if you're making a video, just simply talk to one person that you may be related to. So you speak in first person and you would talk to them directly. And this is exactly what you should have to do. You should have the mindset of talking to one human being, talking to them and them only. And you should be using words like you and your and here's what you should do, rather than I'm talking to all of you out there, or for everyone listening right now, which doesn't sound very personal at all. And it's extremely important that you speak the language of your customers, never fantasy customers. When you interact with your customers, listen to the way they talk. If you can adopt their language, their phrases, and their tone, if you can adapt this language to the copy you use in your marketing, then the tone and familiarity of your copy will build trust and credibility, both so crucial to lowering defensive barriers and being more persuasive. As you interact with your customers, what you'll notice is most people all use very simple language. They use simple phrases. They use simple sayings. And if you can pick up on these and start using them, then you'll feel like one of the family. Okay, so this is just automatically build the feeling of, oh, you're like me. This definitely makes sense, so I can trust you because we're kind of the same. So speak the language of real customers, never fantasy customers. A tendency I've noticed that business owners have when they always seem to imagine that all of their customers are highly sophisticated, wealthy, developed people, and it turns out to never be the case in almost all cases. Most of the time, you're going to have regular people, regular folks like you and I, who like to hang out on the weekend, who have an IQ of 100, who are 30 pounds overweight, who have relatively low self-esteem, on and off. They're like regular people, your customers, so talk to them like regular people. Don't try to be fancy, because that will do an awesome job of alienating a lot of people. Only talk about things that are directly relevant to your prospect. Don't use a bunch of hype or fluff or sensationalism if you can help it. Keep every part of your message focused on something that's emotionally relevant and motivating. Keep the motivator in your mind as you write your copy. Do not forget about it. So again, I do a lot of work in the information world where I teach various courses on things like money, business, strategy, and I've worked around a lot of folks behind training thousands of around the world over the years. And let me ask you, let's say you were $35,000 in credit card debt and you were trying to figure out how to get out of credit card debt. And you went online and you found 2 different videos. And the first video started off by saying, person in the world when it comes to getting out of credit card debt. I've got the best systems in the world for helping you get out of credit card debt, and I'm the one you want to call if you got debt and you'll want to get rid of it because I'm the best. So let's contrast that as the opening to the opening of the hypothetical second video, where the video comes and a person says, if you have between $20,000 and $30,000 credit card debt, and you would like to eliminate all that debt in less than 3 years, this video is going to show you how to do that. So much more literal, but talking directly to the prospect. Which one of these is going to be more compelling? Of course, the second one is more compelling because it's speaking directly to you, to your needs, to your pain. It's specific and doesn't sound like a bunch of hype. So be very careful with hype. I sometimes get a little too excited myself, and I know a little hype, a little here and there, but don't use it as much as, as you might like. Stick to the facts, because when you've already done a good job of choosing your niche and targeting your market, listening to the words that your customers are using and using those emotional hot buttons of stair-stepping them through your process, then they're already ready. They're already hearing what they need to hear and how you'll be able to deliver the benefit, the solution, the result, or the relief they want. And here's a great way to write copy and write it quickly. Make an outline of questions, answer them, and then transcribe them. To go more in depth, you first make an outline of the questions that your prospects are asking. Once they ask, you should speak the answers the way you would answer them if you were talking to a regular person, a friend, or a family member. You can record it and then transcribe it. You can use a service to transcribe it online. You can get a transcriber's help, which is pretty cheap. Regardless of how you do it, this is a great way to start creating speak-write copy that will sound truly friendly, original, and personal. So for example, what benefit would your prospect get from going through your message? Right up front, what are you going to do to get if they read the letter or watch the video? What are they going to learn? What are they going to know how to do? What are their fears and frustrations? Your prospects is going through what you solved. What results, benefits, and relief will your prospect get? How do you discover the product works? How can they know if it will work for sure? What's the proof? Have you tested it? Who else has used it? Who else is this for? And who's it not for? One of the things that I teach more in some of my advanced marketing courses on copywriting and marketing is I say, when you communicate with your prospects and your customers, you don't just communicate and wave at your prospect who will hear and understand. You don't just walk directly up to them. You actually want to talk so directly to your customer avatar that you eliminate non-prospects immediately. So for example, I'll give this example you a moment ago. I said, imagine if you started a video and you said if you have between $30,000 and $40,000 worth of credit card debt and you'd like to eliminate it in less than 3 years. I'm going to show you how in this video. Now, if you don't have $30,000 to $45,000 worth of credit card debt, then that just eliminates you. Let's say that you only got $2,500 worth of credit card debt. Now, if you only got $2,500 worth of credit card debt, you may still watch the video, but it's much less specific. I'm not talking to people who have mortgage debt, mortgages that are upside down, or other different types of debt. I'm talking about credit card debt, and credit card debt at least between $30,000 and $40,000. Now, you can get too specific, and you can cut out everyone, but most people are not in danger of that. So talk directly to your prospect and speak to who it is, it's not for, because the more you can talk to who it is not for, the more your prospect realizes this is certainly made for me. So let's do an exercise. Okay, so answer these questions in the simple, plain language that stays focused on the results, benefits, and relief that your prospect will experience. Try turning on a recorder and answering these questions the way you'd answer them if someone asks you in person. Then try to transcribe what you would say and use it as the basis for your copy. So first, what benefit will your prospect get from just going through the first message? Again, sell them on reading your letter or watching your video. Next, what are the fears and frustrations your prospect is going through that you'll solve? Next, what results, benefits, and relief will your prospect get? How did you discover that the product works? What can they know that it will work? What have you done to prove that it works? Who is this for and who is it not for? Answer these questions. Answer them in plain, simple language, as if when we're talking to you in person. You know that is asking the right questions. Speak right the way you should and the way you'd say it out loud. Finish this exercise, and I will see you on the next step. Take care.